Now let's get into a little bit more complicated examples of simplifying expressions. So once again, I have the distributive property going on in number 5. I have 1/4 in front of these parentheses, so I'm going to distribute 1/4. So since 1/4 is a fraction, I'm going to make both of these terms fractions by putting them over 1. It's much easier for me to multiply fractions with fractions. So 1/4 times 6 over 1 makes 6x over 4 minus 1 times negative 20 is negative 20. 4 times 1 is 4. Great. So in these next parentheses, I'm going to apply the distributive property again. Once again, since I'm multiplying a fraction, I'm going to make it easier on myself by making these two terms fractions as well, by putting them over 1. So now don't forget I'm distributing a negative. Negative 2 times 12, negative 24. 3 multiplied by 1 is 3. Negative 2 times 9x, negative 18x. And 3 times 1 is 3. So now that I've distributed, I can combine like terms. But before I combine like terms, I'm going to simplify my fractions. So 6 over 4, both of these are divisible by 2. That makes 3x over 2. 20 over 4 is 5. 24 over 3 is 8. And 18 over 3, 6x. So that already looks nicer. I canceled out 3 of my fractions just by simplifying. So I'm going to combine like terms here. So I have 3x over 2 minus 6x minus 13. So now, in order to combine these two terms, I need to first create a fraction here. Common denominators of 2 and 1 are 2. So I'll multiply this fraction by 2. So 3x over 2 minus 12x over 2, and don't forget to bring down that subtracting 13. So now that I have common denominators, I can combine these two. 3x minus 12x is negative 9x over 2 minus 13. So that required properties of multiplying fractions and adding fractions. So in this last example, the first step I'm going to do is distribute this negative. So I have 4 minus 2x all over 8 minus 3 minus x. Now this term over here, I don't like the fraction. So what I'm going to first do is break these up into two separate fractions. This is actually 4 over 8 minus 2x over 8 minus 3 minus x. So whenever you have multiple terms over one denominator, you can split it up. So let me simplify these now. 4 over 8, both divisible by 4, reduces to 1/2. 2 over 8, both divisible by 2, simplifies to be 1 over 4x minus 3 minus x. Okay, great. So now to simplify, I need to combine like terms. First, I'm going to group these because I can already see this is going to take a little more time to simplify. So my two like terms constants, 1/2 minus 3. And then I'm going to have my two terms with an x, negative 1 over 4x minus x. So notice these two are equivalent statements. Either I can put the x in my numerator or on the side of my fraction. So once again, in order to add or subtract fractions, they need common denominators. My common denominator here is 2. I'm going to multiply by 2. So I have 1/2 minus 6/2. Here, my common denominator is 4. So I'll multiply, oops, that one does not need that. I will only multiply this one by 4. So now I have negative 1x over 4 minus 4x over 4, almost there. So now to finally simplify this, 1/2 minus 6/2 is negative 5/2. And then negative 1 over 4 minus 4 over 4, negative 1 minus 4, negative 5x over 4. So don't we love the problems with fractions? They make them so much more interesting. So we will practice the distributive property and simplifying expressions more together in class tomorrow.